Hello and welcome back to Edna Talks, the podcast where we explore the vital intersections of culture, health and nursing practice. Today, I'm incredibly excited to welcome a distinguished guest and a highly respected colleague from my own academic home, the Universitat Autónoma de Barcelona in Spain. Joining us is Dr. Maria Dolors Bernabeu. Dr. Bernabeu brings a truly unique and invaluable perspective to the healthcare field, combining her deep expertise in mental health nursing with a rich background in social and cultural anthropology. She has spent her career at the forefront of researching, teaching, and advocating for transcultural nursing and cultural competence. In today's episode, we are going to dive into her personal and professional journey to understand how looking at nursing through an anthropological lens changes the way we provide care. Whether you are a nursing student, a faculty member, or a practitioner committed to advancing health equity, Dr. Bernabeu's insights are going to challenge and inspire you. Dr. Bernabeu, Dolors, welcome to Edna Talks. It's such a pleasure to sit down and have this conversation with you today.
Good morning, Juan. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to share with other colleagues that you and I have discussed so many times. Transcultural nursing, care, and how we can help our students understand it as something real and meaningful rather than just theoretical.
Yeah.
Having you as the interviewer makes this conversation even more meaningful to me.
This is mixing friendship and
Yes, it is.
scholarship. Well, the privilege is mine, Dolores. Let's start with the first question. When and how did your interest in transcultural nursing and cultural competence begin?
Well, you know that now I have an age, so my interest in transcultural nursing began long before even I had the word to describe it. I was very young, just at the beginning of my nursing career, when I started noticing something special. People don't experience illness in the same way. It wasn't only about symptoms or diagnosis. It was about the story behind the symptoms, how people understood suffering, how they asked for help, or how they didn't, because sometimes even the students or the patients don't tell anything, just is the behavior. So, and I still remember an older Roman woman who used to come to the emergency department quite often because of chronic pain. Many colleagues would say she was hard to understand, but when I sat beside her and simply allowed her to tell her story at her own rhythm, I noticed something different. I didn't know it at that moment, but when I was witnessing was culture.
Mm-hmm.
Later on, during my studies in social and cultural anthropology, that intuition became sharper and deeper. For instance, I was practicing in a prison during my studies in anthropology and changed everything for me. Inside those walls, I understood that people carry layers, their personal history, their family background, their community, their beliefs, and then the culture of the prison itself, with its rules, silence, hierarchy, fears, and survival strategies that also are there. So it's something that shapes every relationship, every gesture, every silence. And then came another turning point. My time, I moved to United States. I spent almost two years, and I was with my family, my husband, my children, and it was through the university when I was there that I was able to stay in contact with Hispanic immigrants and Native American communities.
Wow.
Listening to their stories of migration, identity, even vulnerability, seeing the barriers they face every day, opened my eyes in ways I never forget. I will never forget.
Wow.
This experience, being in the United States, and when I came back and then having my anthropology degree, and and then within a small group of European teachers, Rina Papadopoulos was one of them, lead to founding European Transcultural Nursing Association. It was in 2005. I was the first treasurer. And yes, I still smile remembering how I would write down the pronunciation as through treasurer.
It's a hard work for a non-English
Yes,
speaker.
it was the most complicated one. And in my notes, so I wouldn't forget how many times I spent trying to pronounce it.
Wow. It is, I mean, from listening to you, it's so important to pay attention to the subjectivities of the people, and also so important to reflect about our practices and our presence there and our interpretations. Wow, thank you so much. And how has your background, I mean, this training you have in social and cultural anthropology, how has this background influenced your approach to transcultural nursing?
Anthropology didn't just change the way I think about culture. It changed the way I am a nurse, I am a person. Before studying anthropology, I used to see culture like a label, a category, something you could learn about. But anthropology taught me something deeper, that culture is alive, dynamic, constantly negotiated and reshaped by people as they live their life. I had another experience through the anthropology after many years after finishing my nursing, my degree in anthropology. I went to Kosovo, and then everything expanded even more. It was in 2006, a year after to found Etna. I was invited by my Finnish colleague Andrew Sirka, also one of the ENA's founders, to join a training program in Pristina, in Kosovo, by the Finnish Ministries of Foreign Affairs. The country was still under United Nations administration, and you could feel the impact of the war everywhere. It was just 6 or 7 years after to finish the war with the ex-Yugoslavia, and you can feel everything in the buildings and the streets, in the silence between people. And then I work with nurses from Muslim population who care for patients while they themselves and their families were still living the consequences of the conflict.
Wow.
So it was a very hard situation, but still how people tried to communicate with us. We didn't want it to change. We want just to improve the knowledge of the nurses there to become teachers, and it was a great experience.
Wow.
Later, it was something similar happened years later in Sierra Leone in 2013. It was just a few years also after the Civil War. I went with the Order of St. John of God, offering training to nursing students in Mabesenet. People had very little, materially speaking, but what they had in abundance was humility, warmth, openness, and a remarkable capacity for connection. I still remember being part of the nursing students' graduation ceremony, the joy, the hope, the pride. It filled the whole atmosphere. I felt like a celebration of survival and a declaration of future possibilities. Even some other experience we had also together with you, Joan. Remember, we had been in Indonesia and in Ghana, and how we were approaching to the culture, how we were very welcome, and having and sharing all the knowledge that we have together, because people there also have a lot of knowledge, especially at the community. So you know that we were teaching, learning, laughing, and sharing a lot of experiences.
And the importance of being there from the humility, I mean, from the genuine presence of being there, able to learn, open to learn, open to identify mistakes, and it's been always very meaningful. Yeah, it's true.
All these experiences have opened my eyes about the culture and the transcultural.
Yeah, but on the other hand, we also face challenges in most of these activities. What would you say are the major challenges you have encountered implementing transcultural nursing in the university?
One of the biggest challenges is helping students understand that culture isn't a topic.
A topic, yeah.
It's a lens. A lens through which we see every aspect of care. Not something you cover in a single class. Not something you memorize, but something that shapes how we listen, how we interpret, how we build trust.
And how we feel, I would say, how we feel.
Yes. Many students, arrive thinking cultural competence means learning about others.
The others.
And you and me, because we have been discussing so often, we always say that culture is not information. Culture is interpretation. And interpretation requires curiosity, reflection, time, and the willingness to question yourself. Universities, with all their strengths, often separate knowledge into boxes. And also we have a very deep discussion about this. Joan, you remember? Pharmacology there, ethic here, mental health in another place. But real life doesn't work like that.
No.
Real life blends everything. Culture doesn't appear as a separate chapter. It appears in the middle of every interaction.
It's like an umbrella.
It's an umbrella.
It's like covering all the topics.
Yes. One important challenge is integrating innovative methodologies that allow students to truly experience cultural complexity, because the culture is very complex. In my previous teaching in mental health and also in the anthropology of health, I have long used problem-based learning, and I have seen how this approach helps students move from abstract theory to deeper interpretation and reflection.
To find the real meaning.
Yes. Yeah. And in the culture, society and health course, where you have introduced other active methodologies such as case-based learning, sociodrama, narrative photography, and body mapping, and where I also participate teaching, I can clearly see how these strategies enrich each session and deepen students' engagement.
Yeah, we need to make them think, to make them feel, to make them relate concepts. It's not memorizing. No.
These methodologies do more than support theoretical understanding, because even you are having this teaching in a big class, and you can see the differences then working in these small seminar groups. So these methodologies, as I say, do more than support theoretical understanding. They invite the students to step into someone else's perspective, a space, and then there is another challenge: acquire one. But maybe the most important, creating a safe space.
Yeah, very important.
And you in this are very focused during your whole career also in this situation.
It's here talking about the creating a safe space. This is important because sometimes the students, they tell you, but I don't want to talk about that because this is private, for example. Or sometimes they tell you, oh, now that I have reflected about this, about that, now I feel I've been racist, for example, and I feel
Yes.
guilty.
Yes.
Well, let's be quiet. Let's create
Yes.
these safe spaces.
Yeah, this is what we have to support them.
Exactly.
A space where the students feel they can ask the uncomfortable
Exactly.
questions like, what if I offend someone?
Exactly.
How do I avoid stereotyping? Or what do I do when patients believe conflict with clinical guidelines? Uh, these are honest questions, necessary questions. And we always emphasize transcultural competence isn't perfection, is humility.
Yeah.
This is something already you have
At the
telling
end,
me.
at the end, we need to help them to think, to reflect,
Yes.
to deconstruct themselves, to reconstruct themselves. It's like they have to identify these I don't know, like Waverly spaces. Because at the end, humility means to listen. Humility means to recognize what you don't know, to remain open. Anyway, and even when the things feel ambiguous.
Yes.
So, and we are there to help them to navigate these
Navigate.
uncomfortable,
Yeah.
sometimes scenarios. Yeah. And can you share, because I know that you are involved in several projects, but could you tell me a little bit of the current projects you are involved and how they have challenged your professional practice as well?
Joan, you know that all these projects very well,
Yes.
as we are partners from the Autonomous University Barcelona, both in the initiatives we are currently developing and the two European proposals for which we are now waiting for a response. So right now, we are involved in several projects that reflect the things we care about most: culture, identity, vulnerability, and the power of education to transform practice. So let me start with one of the largest ones, Gender Has, is led by Dr. Ariana Huertas. Is an European Erasmus Plus project that brings together the university and research team from Spain, we first, Norway, Slovenia, and Turkey. Also with Slovenia and Turkey, we have been participating in previously projects, and also we can say that we are a group of friends, and we are working seriously, we are working hard, but also we are friends and we are having fun sometimes.
Which is the nice thing.
I think
to learn, to produce, but also to have fun.
Yes. And what I love about this project is that we are not just adding gender perspective to healthcare. We are asking deeper questions. How do gender norms shape clinical encounters? How do they influence speaks? Who decides? Who feels seen? We are co-designing learning materials with students, educators, professionals, and maybe with patients. This will be maybe the next step. And honesty is exciting.
Yes,
this
always,
project
always.
because it pushed the educational system toward a more inclusive, culturally sensitive way of training future professionals.
And at the end, it's through research that we identify these areas of improvement, and sometimes it's uncomfortable, but this is the challenge we must face.
Another project I care deeply is about Venice. Founded project carried by our faculty members of our department. Translated, the name of Venice more or less is Networks with Purpose, promoting emotional well-being through the critical and healthy use of the digital environment at the university. It focuses on emotional well-being and helping first-year students, university students, develop a healthier, more critical relationship with social media. That the students are with the social media very involved and spending a lot of time. So you might think it has little to do with transcultural nursing, but when you look closer, it connects
Perfectly.
perfectly because identity, belonging, comparison, emotional expression, all of this is shaped by culture. And social media is one of the most powerful cultural forces in young people's lives today.
Yeah, as I said before, this is like an umbrella. The
It's an
end culture is
umbrella.
everywhere.
Yes, we are using mixed method research, qualitative and quantitative, and design and workshop that help students reflect on emotional regulation, digital literacy, and the pressure they feel in online spaces. And then I don't want to extend more. We are partners of two more European proposals that we have recently submitted and still don't have the results. So I don't want to go further
Yeah.
information because they are not
In the next interview.
Oh my God!
Maybe,
How many interviews
maybe.
are you gonna have me?
And then I wanted also to ask you, how can nursing faculty can incorporate effectively transcultural nursing and cultural competence into their courses? I mean, how can we do it better?
I think one of the most important thing is this: to move from theory to live experience. Because culture isn't something you truly understand by reading definitions. Culture is something you understand when you encounter it. So a good starting point is to bring stories into the classroom, real stories from practice, from communities, stories from how to show that culture, power, and inequality appear in ordinary clinical situations.
Yeah.
Because when students step outside the classroom, when they meet people, family, or at the communities, culture become visible,
Yeah.
tangible, real,
Yeah, it makes sense for them, like real sense.
a
Yeah.
real sense, not just being at the classroom.
Yeah.
And then there is something that for me is essential: a structured reflection.
Yeah.
Students need a space where they can reflect, really reflect on what they saw, what they felt,
Yeah.
what challenged them, and what surprised also them.
Yes, but how can we help them? I mean, what kind of questions can we suggest them?
Well, we can set users, and there are questions that they can ask by themselves about why I did react like that. What assumptions did I make? What was really happening in that interaction? So this is something, asking these questions, they can think about this,
Yes.
how culture affects
Yeah.
themselves.
At the end, we are inviting them to go out of the box.
Yes.
It's not the
Yeah.
box of knowledge and knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And another important part is helping students explore their own cultural identity.
For sure.
Because if they don't explore their own cultural identity, they cannot approach to the others. So because many students come thinking culture is something others have.
Yeah.
But when they realize that they also have cultural assumptions about time, about autonomy, about communication,
claro.
about family involvement, about emotion, a new level of awareness opens.
It's important because how can I approach diversity if I don't even know who I am, my differences, my areas of comfort, of my areas of discomfort. Yeah.
And finally, this is from the students, but faculty also needs support.
Yes.
Transcultural teaching requires time, emotional presence, and sometimes vulnerability. We need institutions to value this work. to create opportunities for development, and to encourage interdisciplinary collaboration. For me, this is one of the most important things. We are not just isolated in our own space. We need to do more interdisciplinary collaboration.
And also intercourses. It's not this is not a single course. No. This should be included in different courses. So this leads to my next question. Do you think transcultural nursing should be integrated through all the courses, or just this course in the first year in our case, and that's all?
Yes, absolutely. For me and for us, I came back again about our long conversation about transcultural. Culture is not something that appears only in one moment, or in one type of care, or in one special situation. Culture is present in everything we do in nursing.
Yes.
In communication, in pain management, in mental health, in end-of-life care, in pharmacology, in family dynamics, or in how patients express fear or trust, or even in how they imagine healing.
Yeah.
So when transcultural nursing is placed in just one subject, in a single course, in one semester, we send a message, even unintentionally, that culture is something extra.
Yeah, that's important.
Something optional. Something that you cover and then move on.
Yeah.
And truly, my dream is to work on the curriculum as a whole. Also discuss deeper with you. This is also something that you and I have often discussing along
for hours
after lunch sessions. That means supporting other faculties members so they can bring cultural perspective into their own subjects in ways that feel natural and connect. For instance, a pharmacology lecture can address belief around medication. A mental health educator can explore how culture shapes distress. A clinical instructor, or at the simulation room, instructors can help students interpret silence, gestures, family roles through a cultural lens. So this is something that
it's again the umbrella.
As you can see, always we are talking about, it's not just a culture in the first year of students. This is something that has to be transversal and integrated.
It should. Now we have the challenge to make it possible. And what changes do you believe universities and healthcare settings must make to better embed transcultural nursing and cultural competence?
I think the key word here is commitment.
Yes.
Universities need to treat cultural competence not as an optional value, not as something nice to have, but as a core professional skill. That means making it visible, clearly visible, in learning outcomes, in curricula, in assessment methods, and in faculty development. They need to create real spaces for intercultural dialogue among professionals, not just formal training sessions, but spaces for reflection, for sharing difficult cases, for talking honestly about misunderstanding bias, power, and uncertainty.
This is important.
Cultural competence cannot survive in systems that only value speed, efficiency, and productivity.
And this makes sense with qualitative and quantitative research because we are both
Yeah.
experts or feel more attracted to qualitative methods because we are more focused on these
Yeah.
subjectivities and not so much in this, as you said, efficiency and productivity, which is important,
Yeah,
of
important,
course.
of course, but not only. Healthcare institutions also need to integrate cultural competence into clinical guidelines, quality indicators, and evaluation
Evaluation.
tools. And both universities and healthcare institutions need what we often call institutional courage.
Courage, yeah.
The courage to recognize inequities, the courage to question routines, courage to say, maybe the way we have always done things is not the most equitable way.
Yeah.
So this is
So
the
we
changes.
we have homework. We have homework. And just the last question I have for you: what is your core message for nurses and educators committed to cultural safety, cultural competence, etc., and health equity?
If I had to choose just one message, one idea that has guided my career, it would be this. Cultural competence is not a destination. It is a lifelong journey.
Yeah, that's very nice.
You don't achieve it. You don't check a box and say, now I understand every culture. Instead, you practice it, you grow into it, you make mistakes, you learn, you keep listening, because cultural competence required curiosity, humility, and the courage to look honestly at your own assumptions, as we said before, your own lens, your own position in the encounter. It means recognizing when your way of seeing things is just one way, but not the only one.
There are many other ways to do things.
And to offer care that honors dignity, to recognize diversity without fear, to stand against exclusion and injustice. Because transcultural nursing is not about mastering knowledge. For me, and also for you, because I know you, it's about expanding your heart, about seeing people not as diagnoses, not as cases, not as categories, but the worlds. So my core message is simple, and at the same time very profound, I guess. Be curious, be humble, be brave,
Be brave.
and never stop learning from the people you care for.
That's very nice and inspiring at the same time. I many times I tell my students that cultural competence is not a badge that you get. It's like you get the diploma and that's all. No, it's something you must continue. You must go on. You must improve. You must reflect. So it's like an ongoing process.
It's what you said before, the long
Exactly.
life.
No, it's forever. I mean,
It's forever.
you will have to learn and to relearn forever. So what a wonderful guiding principle that you're leaving us today. Dolores, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute privilege to hear your insights. Your work is a vital reminder that truly understanding our patient goes far beyond the clinical. It's deeply rooted in culture, empathy, and human connection.
So, Joan, you know better than anyone that we have shared so many projects, conversations, and moments of reflection about the complexity of transcultural care, that all it is naturally become part of what we talk about today. You are not just a colleague. I have worked side by side with you for years, but you are also my friend, someone with whom I have been able to speak openly, question things, laugh, rethink the work, and above all, learn. So thank you, thank you very much, Juan, for this truly enriching
So
years.
nice. You're gonna make me cry. So nice. Well, thank you, Dolores. Thank you so much. And to our listeners, thank you for tuning to this episode of Etna Talks. We hope today's conversation has inspired you to reflect on your own practice, your teaching, and how we can all push for a more culturally safe and equitable healthcare system. So if you enjoyed this episode, please be sure to subscribe and to become an Etna member for free. You just have to go to our website and register. And until next time, stay curious and keep advocating for health equity. Goodbye.